So I hope you're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So last week we were discussing about relative velocity. We saw relative velocity in one dimension. Then we discussed about relative velocity in two dimension. Where all can it be applied, right? And we have discussed few points also. So one is, I told you about distance of closest approach. Next is river-based problems or river swimmer problems, which is also same as aeroplane wind problems. Then we have rain and man problems. That is rain and umbrella problems is what we see, right? So we have all these things. And last week we started with this topic, river and boat problems. Then we saw certain parameters like this, right? So what will be the time taken by the person to cross the river and all those things, right? Then we also saw what is the condition for the swimmer to cross the river in the minimum possible time. So if he has to cross the river in the minimum possible time, he will start moving perpendicular to the flow of the river. So that also we proved. Cos theta is equal to 1 and theta is equal to 0 degrees, where theta is the angle made with the vertical, right? So when the person is trying to cross the river in the minimum possible time, he will experience some drift. And the drift value is given by the expression VR into T, where T is the time taken for by the person to cross the river, and VR is the velocity of the river. So when you apply, you will get this particular expression, right? Anyways, don't worry, you need not memorize any of the expressions. You need to understand the concept. Then we also saw what are the condition for zero drift or condition to reach the opposite point. So if the person has to exactly reach the opposite point, means if he's starting at P, he has to reach the point Q, then he cannot start perpendicular. Rather, he will start at some angle theta with respect to the vertical, so that the river keeps pushing him in such a way that he will be able to he will be experiencing a drift of this much value. He will be experiencing a drift of BQ, so that he exactly reaches the point Q. Okay, so that is how much. That's what we need to find. So from the previous derivation, if you observe, the drift that is experienced by the person is given by the expression VR minus VSR sine theta divided by VSR cos theta, where VR is the velocity of the river, VSR is what? It is the velocity of the swimmer with respect to the river divided by VSR cos theta. So when the person is exactly reaching the opposite end, what will be the drift experienced by him? The drift experienced by him will be 0. Okay. So from this, we can say VR is equal to VSR sine theta, and sine theta will be equal to VR divided by VSR. See, I will give you a different approach of how to go with this. Let's say you don't remember this expression. Okay. Then what we need to do is, you're able to see this diagram, right? So this is the velocity of the river. There is the velocity of river. There is the velocity of swimmer. Okay. And this is the velocity of the swimmer with respect to river. I hope it is clear. So this angle is theta. Now, this VSR is making an angle theta with respect to y direction. It is neither along x direction or y direction. So what we need to do is, we need to resolve it into two components. What are the two components we can think of? One is VSR sine theta, and the other will be VSR cos theta. Accepted? Okay. Now observe, for drift to be 0. Tell me, drift is related to which direction? Is it related to x direction or y direction?
X direction.
X direction, right? So for the drift to be 0, look at the components of velocity that are there in the x direction. What are the components of velocity that are there in the x direction?
VSR sine theta.
Is it only VSR sin theta?
Yeah.
I'm
VR.
saying, and you have VR also, right? So can I put it like this? Drift that is being experienced along x direction is equal to the resultant velocity along x direction multiplied by the time taken for the person to reach the other end. Can I put it like this? Right, this is the drift. VR is in the rightward direction, VSR sin theta is in the leftward direction. So the resultant velocity will be VR minus VSR sin theta, or VSR sin theta minus VR, anything can be taken. But in general, we'll take the velocity of river to be more. So VR minus VSR sin theta into T. So if the drift is 0, what can we conclude from this? Can I say VR is equal to VSR sin theta, which implies sin theta is equal to VR divided by VSR. So this is going to be the angle at which the person is supposed to start for experiencing zero drift. So the other name for zero drift is condition to reach the opposite point. Am I clear? Am I clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Please make a note of this. We'll do some problems which are based on this. Let me know once you're done. You're done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next topic is aeroplane and wind-based problem. That is also a similar concept. And the last one is man and umbrella problem. That is also a similar concept. Okay. So if you have the basic understanding of vectors, we will be able to solve all these problems. So what I will do is I will start solving the problems. In that, I'll tell you how to think and how to approach. See, the question is, this is a 2019 question. Okay. Forget that it is a JE question or whatever it is. There's only for your information. Now read the question and tell me how to approach. So read it clearly. The stream of a river is flowing with a speed of 2 km per hour. So what have they given us?
VR.
VR.
VR. So they have given us the absolute velocity of the river, which is 2 km per hour. Okay. But one thing, direction is not given. The speed is given. So if you want to convert the speed into velocity, you need to assign a direction. It is all under our imagination. Okay. Next. A swimmer can swim at a speed of 4 km per hour. So what is given?
VS.
So we take it as Vs, right? Vs is equal to 4 km per hour. But see, there is a point where we make mistake. It is not Vs that is given to us. They always, whenever they say the swimmer can swim, okay, they're trying to say the velocity of the swimmer with respect to river. So observe. There's an important keyword, make a note of it. This is called as velocity of swimmer with respect to river, right? This is one way. Or we also say this is the velocity of swimmer in still water. You're able to understand, this is what we call it as velocity of swimmer in still water. You can ask me, why is it so? Right? Why am I using velocity of swimmer in still water? Then why am I using R here? It's very, very simple. Observe. If I write VSR, if I apply the basic formula of relative velocity, velocity of A with respect to B, what does it mean? It is velocity of A minus velocity of B. Accepted? Right? So velocity of swimmer with respect to river is velocity of swimmer minus the velocity of river. I've applied the basic formula. But I'm saying, what is the name I'm giving to VSR? I'm saying it is still the velocity of swimmer, but in what kind of water? In still water. Right? What do you mean by still water?
No drift, sir.
So velocity of river is 0. If at all the velocity of river is 0, then VSR will be equal to VS. Now you understand why I told both are same.
Yes, sir.
You're able to understand. So don't get confused that VSR is equal to VS always. No. It is only when you see the word still water, because I've seen many of them doing a mistake. Wherever they see still water, no, they take it as VS directly and do it. No. It is still VSR only. This part is only for your understanding. Okay, these are all the keywords. Have it in your mind. So what is the change I need to do here? It is the velocity of swimmer with respect to river. I hope both the points are justified, right? Vs is equal to 2 km per hour. VSR is equal to 4 km per hour, right? What should be the direction of the swimmer? I told you in physics, direction means angle, right? What should be the direction of the swimmer with respect to the flow of the river to cross the river straight? What do you mean by crossing the river straight?
Zero drift.
Yes. So he should experience zero drift. Let's visualize it again. So the person is starting here. He should reach the opposite point by experiencing zero drift. So if this is the velocity of swimmer with respect to river, which is given as 4 km per hour, and this is the velocity of river, which is given as 2 km per hour. This is the angle theta. So they ask, what is the direction of the swimmer with respect to whom? You need to be very careful with respect to the flow of the river. So are they asking theta? What are they asking? Observe.
90 plus theta.
Very good. It is 90 plus theta. You need to read the question carefully because I'll tell you why it is so. So VSR cos theta and VSR sin theta, right? So just now we understood for zero drift, what should happen? VR should be equal to VSR sin theta, right? We need not memorize it. As you keep practicing problems, you can do it in one step. So VR is equal to 2, VSR is 4, 4 times sin theta, which implies sin theta is equal to how much? Half. Theta is equal to 30 degrees. Sometimes what they will do is, one of the options they'll give you as 30 degrees also. You will get confused. But what is the answer? Fortunately, here there is no 30 degrees. So 90 plus 30, because they've asked with respect to the flow of the river. So answer is 120, guys.
120.
I hope it is clear. Okay. It's simple, right?
Yes, sir.
Please make a note of it. If there is any doubt, let me know. I'll just be back in a minute. We'll go to the next one. See. 1 minute. Okay. We'll do this problem. Then I will tell you how to do, because I didn't explain you how to solve minimum distance, right? So third one, see, it is a problem which is based on aeroplane and wind. You guys try to do it, no? So there is a person standing on an open ground. There is a person standing on an open ground. Here's the jet. Here's the sound of a jet aeroplane coming from north. Okay, here's the sound of a jet aeroplane coming from north at an angle 60 degrees with the ground level. Okay, but he finds the aeroplane right vertically above his position. If v is the speed of the sound, then the speed of the plane is. So what are they trying to say? So there is a person standing on an open ground. Here's the sound of a jet aeroplane coming from north at an angle of 60 degrees with ground level. Okay. But he finds the aeroplane right vertically above his position. How is it possible? He's saying sound is coming at 60 degrees and the plane is exactly vertical, in a vertical position. Is it possible? Is this scenario? Guys, are you here? You're able to understand this question? What exactly are they trying to say?
Light travels faster than sound.
That's right. Light travels faster than sound. That is why there is a delay. See, let's say he heard the sound which was produced at this point. By the time the sound reached his ears, the plane has actually reached this point. That is what they're saying, trying to say. Okay. So what is they say? If v is the speed of the sound, then the speed of the plane is what? So what we can do is we will take this as north, south. So there is a person standing here. Here's the sound of a jet aeroplane coming from north at an angle 60 degree with the ground level. So this is the ground level. So this is making an angle 60 degree with the ground level. But he finds the plane at this point. So if I take this point as A, this as B and C, okay, then what are all the velocities we can give? So in this direction, in the direction of C to A, what is the velocity that is there? What is traveling in the direction of C to A? Read the question carefully. It
Speed
is
of
sound.
sound.
So it is the speed of sound. That is V. Right? From C to B, who's traveling?
The plane.
The plane. So in this direction, the velocity of the plane will be there. Now what is it? If V is the speed of the sound, then the speed of the plane is. We need a relation between Vp and B. Okay. So how to solve this, guys? So can I say?
Trigonometry.
Yes, it's simple trigonometry. That's it. So if you observe, sound is reaching his ear at time t, and he is able to see the plane at point B also at time t, right? So can I say in time t, CB is equal to how much? Can I write it as VP into T? Similarly, CA will be equal to V into T, accepted. So CA is VT and CB is VP into T. So what can we do? We can, what is cos 60 degrees? Cos 60 will be equal to CB divided by CA. What is CB? VP into T divided by V into T. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. So T and T will get cancelled. VP divided by V, which implies VP is equal to V divided by V. Is there an option? Yeah. So velocity of plane is exactly how is it possible? Velocity. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Velocity of the plane is half of the velocity of sound. I hope it is clear. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So I'm moving on to the next one. Listen. Now try to do this problem, fifth one. You people do it, no? I'll give you 1 minute time. Do and tell me. A boat which has a speed of 5 km per hour in still water crosses a river of width 1 kilometer along the shortest possible path in 15 minutes. The velocity of the river water in kilometer per hour is. Anybody with the answer? Right. Accepted. So how to solve? Can think of parallelogram law of vectors. Anything. Listen. So what have they given? Can you tell me the data that they've given? This 5 km per hour is what? VSR or VS?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So VSR is equal to 5 km per hour. Okay, accepted. Crosses the river of width. So the width of the river is given as 1 kilometer along the shortest path possible. So and the time taken for him to cross is 15 minutes. 15 minutes is nothing but since here it is in terms of hour, It is 1/4 of an hour. The velocity of the river. They want the absolute velocity of the river. Observe. So how to solve this? So can I write time is equal to distance by speed? So what is the distance he is traveling? 1 kilometer. And with the speed of what? With the speed of Vs. Accepted. So time is equal to distance by speed. Why did I write only Vs? Because Vs is along the width of the river. Right? So that is going to be the distance. But what is the relation between Vs, VSR and VR? Observe. If this is VR, then if I try to reverse the direction of VR, then what is the speed? This will be minus VR. Accepted. Now observe. If this is Vs and this is VR, if this is going to be VSR, what is the relation between all the three using parallelogram law of vectors? VSR is equal to root of Vs square plus VR square. Guys, I need some response. Am I clear or not? VSR square is equal to Vs square plus VR square. What are they asking? VR, no. So Vs will be equal to root of VSR square minus VR square. So take this and substitute it here. So time is equal to 1/4 of an hour. There is 1 kilometer divided by root of VSR square minus VR square. So square on both the sides. 1/16 is equal to 1/25 minus VR square, which implies VR square is equal to 25 minus 16. That is 9. What will be the value of VR? That will be 3 kilometer per hour. Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since you have understood this, can you try the sixth at least? I want an answer. Try it out. So river is flowing from west to east at a speed of 5 meter per minute. A man on the south bank of the river, capable of swimming at 10 meter per minute in still water, wants to swim across the river in the shortest time. He should swim in a direction. If you read the question, you can tell it in 5 seconds. You need not solve this. So what is given? This is what? 5 meter per minute is what?
VR.
Speed VR. A man on the south bank of the river is capable of swimming at 10 meter per minute. This is
VSR.
Yes, sir.
okay. Wants to swim across the river in the shortest time. This is the hint. So if anybody has to reach the other end in the shortest time possible, how are they supposed to start? They should start moving.
Perpendicular.
So what is the answer?
Due north.
That's it. You need not solve. The remaining data is unwanted. They have given only to confuse you. The answer is due north. Okay. So wherever you see shortest time, he should always start perpendicular. Shortest path means he will always start in the direction opposite to the river, but not exactly the opposite direction, but making an angle theta with the vertical, so that he experiences zero drift. Okay, so that is the difference. Shortest possible path, and in this question it is shortest time. I hope you are able to, I hope this point is getting registered in your mind, right? Yes or no?
Yes,
Sir,
sir. Can you repeat
Which one?
the point you said just now?
Now see, it's very simple. There are shortest path, shortest time. So when they say shortest path, drift is equal to 0. Okay, that is a keyword. That is a, see, shortest path is basic English. In terms of physics, we say drift is 0. I hope this point is clear, right? What do you mean by drift? Drift means getting carried away. So he will start like this for the shortest path, making an angle theta with the vertical. So drift will be 0. Whereas if they say shortest time, then theta is equal to 0 degrees, where theta is what? Angle made with whom? Angle made with vertical or horizontal?
Vertical.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So since the angle made with the vertical is going to be 0 degrees, in this question, the answer is due north. Because this is the point where the river is flowing from west to east. So he should start moving along the north. That is the meaning. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
No. Yes. No. So look at this question. So there is a passenger train of length 60 meter travels at a speed of 80 km per hour. Another freight train of length 120 meter travels at a speed of 30 km per hour. The ratio of time taken by the passenger train to completely cross the freight train when they are moving in the same direction and in opposite direction. So L1 is 60 meter, right? That is the length of the passenger train. This means it's a goods train. You know goods, right? Goods train. So the length of the goods train is 120 meter. I hope you're able to understand these 2 points, right? Travels at a speed of 30 kilometer. So velocity of the first train is 80 kilometer per hour. Velocity of the second train is 30 kilometer per hour. Okay, all these things are okay. Why is this? Why have I put this question under relative velocity? That's what we need to understand. So the ratio of time taken by the passenger train to the goods train when they are moving in the same direction and in opposite direction. So by these directions, what exactly is going to change between them? Direction is going to change. Due to the change of direction, what other parameter is going to change?
Relative velocity.
Yes. Yes, very good. It's the relative velocity. Okay. So when they are moving in same direction, what will be the relative velocity of them? It will be V1 minus V2. I will put a modulus because I don't know which one is moving in which direction. Similarly, when they are moving in opposite direction, what will be the relative velocity?
V1 plus V2.
I hope you understood why it is V1 plus V2, because V1 minus of If the other train is coming in opposite direction, be minus V2. That is why V1 minus of minus V2, it is V1 plus V2, right? So what will be the time taken in the first case? So time taken in the first case will be equal to distance by speed. What is the distance? L1 plus L2 divided by what is the speed modulus of V1 minus V2. Time taken in the second case is the same distance L1 plus L2, but it is going to be V1 plus V2. So what is the time taken in the first case? So 120 plus 60 is 180 divided by modulus of V1 minus V2 is 50. In the case of second, 180 divided by 110. So T1 by T2 will be how much? 110 divided by 50. Answer will be 11 by 5. Is there an option? I hope it is clear, guys. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Make a note of this. Okay. We'll move to the next problem. That is a problem which is based on the concept of minimum distance. Okay. So read the question and tell me what comes to your mind. I can give you only one hint. This problem not only needs physics knowledge, it also needs a little bit of maths knowledge. So you need not solve the problem. I'm not asking you to solve. Just tell me the idea. What comes to your mind? There is a ship A which is sailing towards what direction? Northeast. Northeast means what? How much? So when you see this word north, it is
45.
exactly 45 degrees with respect to north as well as east. With a velocity of how much? 30 I cap plus 50 J cap kilometer per hour, where I cap and J cap are in the direction of east and north respectively. There is another ship B which is at a distance of 80 kilometer east and 150 kilometer north of ship A and is sailing towards west at a speed of 10 kilometer per hour. A will be at a minimum distance from B in how much time? So first we need to understand this question. Right. Even before we solve this question, what comes to your mind? I've given you the hint already. I told you more than physics knowledge, your mathematics knowledge is important here. So what are the important words that I've underlined?
Minimum distance.
So that word minimum Means what comes to your mind?
Perpendicular distance.
Need not be. Yes, perpendicular is one of the cases. You can say perpendicular distance, the minimum distance, provided they both are moving parallel. That is the idea. Because see, when you have two parallel lines, when I ask you what is the minimum distance, obviously it is going to be the perpendicular distance. That's right. But in this case, what are they trying to say? Minimum distance is not possible. Like you cannot take them as parallel because they're completely moving in different directions. Suppose I put a question like this: you have a square. Okay.
The angle should be minimum.
I'm almost giving you the hint. If there is a square, I'm asking you, or let's say, you have a cone. In this cone, you need to inscribe a sphere. If I ask you, what is the maximum radius of a sphere that can be inscribed with this, what will you do? I give you all of the details. Like I say, there is a cone of given volume. You need to place a sphere inside this cone such that it has the maximum possible area. If you see that word maximum, what comes to your mind? Where do you find these kind of questions?
We have to use derivative.
Yes. So what is expected? They're expecting the area to be maximum. Means what will you do? You will write area as a function of one particular variable and then start differentiating. So differentiate, and what will you write? You will take that dA by d something, whatever it is, dx or whatever it is. You will write it as 0, right? In a similar way, the same concept has to be applied here. Why I'm stressing on this point is, now when you learn that in math, right? Wherever you see this minimum concept, minimum distance, minimum velocity, whatever you see, no, that time you can always think in terms of calculus. So now let's start solving the problem. Visualize it. Okay. Now I'm taking the basic coordinate axis. I'm repeating it, guys. Since you're doing it for the first time, you might think it is lengthy, but you do similar kind of problems, it'll become easy for you guys. Okay. So there is a ship A which is sailing towards northeast with a velocity of 30 I cap plus 50 j cap. Let's say it is starting from here. So if this is the velocity of A, then how much is the angle it is making? It is making 45 degrees. Whether this 45 degrees is useful or not, let's think about it later. Okay. There is another ship B, which is at what point? 80 kilometer east and 150 kilometer north of ship A. Right. So it is at. So what do you guys understand from that?
It is the distance with respect to ship A.
It is the distance with respect to?
Ship A.
With respect to A. Okay. So initially what did we assume is the starting point of A is taken as origin. They never told it is starting from origin because there is nothing like that. Okay. We have considered wherever the ship A is starting to be the origin. So with respect to the initial position of A, that is 0, 0, where is the second ship? That is, if I take the position vector of A as 0 I cap plus 0 j cap. I hope you are able to understand this. Right, concentrate. Then what will be the position vector of B initially? So they have given it, observe, no? 80 kilometer.
80 I cap and
plus
150
j cap.
Right, that's it. 80 I cap plus 150 j cap. That's it. Just convert it to vectors. You need not think anything. Okay. Similarly, what is the velocity of A that is given? That is 30 I cap plus 50 j cap. Right. What is the velocity of B then? It is minus 10
Minus
I cap.
10 I cap.
Accepted? No. So they're saying A will be at a minimum distance from B. When is it possible? Okay. So what we can say is here, since they told they are moving with a velocity of this much value, here we are not going to take the concept of acceleration itself. Now what I'm going to do is, so this RA and RB, are they the initial position vectors or final position vectors? This is what is happening. RA and RB is what is happening initially, accepted. They are the initial position vectors. Now let's say after time t, okay, after time t, what will be the position of particle A?
VA by T. VA into T.
VA into T, yes. So if I call it as RA dash vector, then it will be VA vector into T. That will be 30T I cap plus 50T J cap. Accepted? Now, what will be the position vector of B, guys? After time T? It will be correct?
Yes, sir.
So what will be the answer?
Minus 10 T I cap.
Minus 10T I cap. Right? Now observe this problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm purely using vectors, nothing else outside it. Okay. Now, what is the distance covered by A? Or I'm going to put it in this way. What is a position? I'm going to refer everything to origin only. Okay. So what is the position of A, the new position of A with respect to origin? What is the new position of A with respect to origin? It is still 30T I cap plus 50T J cap. But if you observe, what is the position of B with respect to origin? What will be the answer, guys? This is where you need to be careful.
80 I. No, minus 10 I. 10 T I.
1 minute, huh? 1 minute, 1 minute. Tell me.
Minus 10 T I.
That's not the answer. That is where you need to be careful, because see, why I put this question is, what is the position vector of B with respect to origin after time t is? Remember, here I wrote it as 30T I cap plus 50T J cap for A because the particle started from origin only. So after that, how much ever distance it has traveled, it is going to be with respect to origin. But with respect to particle B, what is the origin? It didn't start from 0, 0. It started from 80, 150. Right? So how much will be the distance it would have covered? It will be the final position vector minus initial position vector. So 1 minute, see. What I'm doing is, visualize it, guys. So this was the initial position with respect initial position of B. Accepted? So the distance covered by B is minus 10 I cap. Are you guys able to visualize till this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now see, with respect to origin, if I call this as, okay, I'll one small correction I'm doing. I'll not call it as RB dash. I'll call it as distance covered in time t. Now observe. Now, if I call this as RB dash, then what is the relation between RB dash and all other parameters? Apply triangle of vectors. RB dash, RB vector minus 10 I cap is equal to
RB dash.
RB dash vector, accepted. So I need RB dash vector. This will be how much? What is the RB vector? RB vector is 80 I cap plus 150 J cap minus, this is 10 I cap. This will be RB dash. So it will be 80 T minus 10 I cap plus 150 J cap. Am I clear in these 2 points? Is it clear? So I'm repeating because I'm explaining, it is taking so many steps. Okay, so concentrate
10
again.
T should come now, sir.
10 did I miss? Yeah, 10 T J cap. Yeah. Then it is 80 minus 50. Okay, I'm sorry. Then it is 80 I cap plus 150 J cap minus 10 T I cap. I hope it is clear. So 80 minus 10 T I cap plus 150 J cap. Okay. Now, what is the distance between A and B at time t? So what is the distance between A and B at time t? See, the meaning of this is the coordinates of this point is 30t, 50t. What are the coordinates of B vector? It is 80 minus 10t, 150. If you know two coordinates, how will you find the distance between them?
Root over x2 minus x1.
Root over x2 minus x1. That is 80 minus 10t minus 30t
Whole square.
whole square plus 150 minus 50t the whole square. Are you guys able to understand or not? 50t whole square. So what is this thing? This is the distance between whom? This is the distance between the ship A and B at what instant? At any time t. Correct? Huh? If this is going to be the distance, for this distance to be minimum, if I take this distance as, I'll take it as this. For this distance to be minimum, what is the mathematical condition that needs to get satisfied? See, distance is a function of what variable?
Time.
Time. So for the distance to be minimum, what is the mathematical condition that is applicable? ds with respect to whom? You have gone. Yes. ds by dt is equal to 0. You're able to understand? So if you differentiate this and equate it to 0, you will get the value of time at which the distance between them is minimum. Okay. So I hope you understood what is to be done. Tell me one thing honestly, how many of you are not comfortable with vectors? I just need some response because based on that only I can proceed. How many of you are not comfortable with vectors? See, if you don't know, please put it. Sorry, little bit only you are confident.
Yes, sir.
Okay, others? See, if I know the problem area only, I can resolve it. Others, are you comfortable because I'm not getting responses with respect to position vectors and all. I'm not sure if you guys are able to visualize it. Let me know in the chat box, those who are not able to speak.
Here it's little bit clear, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. Little bit what?
It's little bit clear.
No, it's there is nothing like little bit clear, and it should be completely clear. I'm not talking about this problem. I'm not concerned about this problem. This problem is given and it's over. It's 2019 question, 8th April. It's over. It's not going to get repeated at least for a few years. The whole concept is I want to know whether you're confident with vectors or not, because the next set of problems I'm going to do is based on vectors only. So ds by dt is equal to 0. If you do this, you will get the value of time. That part I'm leaving it to you. Okay. So I don't remember the answer. You can solve it out and let me know. You can do this as a part of homework. Okay. So this is all about relative velocity. I just got a 2020 question. See. I'm going to display the question. See. Try to solve it. There's a 2020 question. So they are given two trains A and B moving with a speed of 36 km per hour and 72 km per hour respectively in opposite direction. A man moving in train A with a speed of 1.8 km per hour opposite to the direction of train. Find the velocity of man as seen from train B. So it is actually it's a very simple problem. You need to take the right data and apply the formula of relative velocity, nothing else outside it. Okay. Now tell me how to take the data. Who can tell me? So two trains A and B moving with a speed of 36 km per hour and 72 km per hour. So what have they given?
VA and VB.
Okay. So VA is how much? 36 km per hour. If you observe, the answer is in terms of meter per second. That conversion will do it later. What is the velocity of B?
72 kilometers.
72 km per hour. So 36 km per hour is how many meter per second?
10 meter per second.
10 meter per second. 72 km per hour is
20 meters.
20 meter per second. Similarly, a man moving in train A with a speed of 1.8 km per hour opposite to the direction of train. So what have they told? So what is the data I need to take? Sorry?
VAB.
VAB. The velocity of A with respect to B will be minus 10 meter per second. They have given 1.8. No. Read the question carefully. There is a man. Okay. So actually, how many objects are there? There are 3 objects. Think like this. Okay. 2 trains and a person. Now, you have the absolute velocities of both the trains accepted. The second point, in the second statement, what they are saying is there is a man who's in which train? He is in train A. And he is moving with a speed of 1.8 km per hour in opposite direction of train A. What is the meaning of that? That is what I want to understand. So can I write velocity of man is equal to 1.8 kilometer per hour. Can I write it like this?
So is he moving within the train?
Yes, he's with the train. A man moving in train A.
Yes, sir.
So how do I, is it right? Velocity of man is 1.8 kilometer per hour. It's wrong.
So it's velocity of man with respect to A.
It is the velocity of man with respect to A. And there is another important point I need to concentrate upon. Why have they mentioned it as opposite? Means if train A, let's say it is moving in the direction rightward, okay, then B is moving in the opposite direction, because here also they have told they are moving in opposite, A and B are moving in opposite direction. What is the direction in which the man is walking? The man is also walking in the direction opposite to train A. So answer will be minus 1.8. And one more correction is also to be done. What is it?
Conversion, sir.
I forgot a minus here. VB is equal to minus 20 meter per second. I told not conversion, I told correction. Okay. So minus 1.8 kilometer per hour is, it is minus 0.5 meter per second. Accepted? Right? Now what are they asking? The question has become simple. They're asking velocity of the man with respect to B. Velocity of man with respect to B is velocity of man minus velocity of B. Correct? So what is the velocity of man? Velocity of the man is velocity of man with respect to A plus velocity of A minus Vp. So what is the velocity of man with respect to A? It is minus 1.8 plus velocity of A is 10 meter per second minus, what is the velocity of B? Minus 20. Am I clear? So it is 8.2 plus 20, 28.2. Is there an option like that? Did I make any mistake? 10 minus, oh sorry, it's not 1.8, minus 0.5, right? Minus 0.5 because it's in meter per second. So 10 minus 0.5 is 9.5. Answer is 29.5. Is there an option? Yeah. So 29.5 meter per second. So this was asked this year only. September, I think it was on 2nd. Right? Are you guys able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
One thing I understood is you need a lot of practice on relative velocity. This will make your vectors part also strong. Now listen. Let's do some problems which are based on vectors. Nobody responded, so I assume that they're comfortable. Let's do. This is also an online April 2019 problem. There are two vectors, A1 vector and A2 vector. The magnitude of A1 vector is 3, the magnitude of A2 vector is 5. The sum of the magnitude of the sum of the vectors is 5. The value of 2A1 vector plus 3A2 vector dot 3A1 vector minus 2A2 vector is. Okay. So you know the dot product. So if I have A vector dot B vector, what is the meaning of this? Magnitude of A vector, magnitude of B vector, cos theta. Accepted. Now question is, what if I have a vector and the dot product of that vector with itself? It will be magnitude of a vector into magnitude of a vector into cos of how much is the angle between them, guys?
0 degrees.
0.
0 degrees. So this can also be written as magnitude of a vector square or simply a square. So with respect to vector, they have given you a vector and they have given you the square of the vector. The inner meaning of it is you have done the dot product of that vector with itself, right? So in the similar case, what can I write this point as? 2a1 vector plus 3a2 vector dot 3a1 vector minus 2a2 vector. Tell me. It is 2 into 3, that is 6 into, can I write it as a1 vector dot a1 vector minus 4 into a1 vector dot a2 vector plus 9 into a1 vector dot a2 vector minus 6 into a2 vector dot a2 vector. So what will I have? 6 into modulus of a1 square minus 4 plus 9. It will be plus 5 into a1 vector dot a2 vector minus 6 into modulus of a2 square. Am I clear till this step? So what are all the data you have in your hand? You have data modulus of a1, which is 3, modulus of a2, which is 5. Then we need to find what is a1 vector dot a2 vector. How to get that? That's another question. Okay. So 6 into modulus of a1 is 3. So 6 into 3 square plus 5 into a1 vector dot a2 vector minus 6 into modulus of a2 is 5. That will be 25. Or I can write as 5 square also. Right. So 6 into 9, 54 minus 150 plus 5 into a1 vector dot a2 vector. Is it clear till this step?
Yes, sir.
Now see, why have they given us this information? Modulus of a1 vector plus a2 vector is equal to 5. Okay. So given us modulus of a1 vector plus a2 vector is equal to 5. This implies whenever you have a modulus, right? Especially you have the modulus of sum of two vectors, the first step you need to do is square on both sides. You learn all these things in vector algebra in your math also this year. Okay, there you will understand. So what you need to do is you need to square on both the sides. When you square on both the sides, what can I write this as? Can I write this as a1 vector plus a2 vector dot a1 vector plus a2 vector? Because I told you the modulus square is nothing but dot product of the vector with itself. Here the vector is a1 vector plus a2 vector. I hope this is clear. Then this will be magnitude of a1 square plus magnitude of a2 square plus 2 times a1 vector dot a2 vector. If you observe what this is nothing but your parallelogram law of vectors. Okay, this parallelogram law of vectors. I hope this point is clear.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Magnitude of a1 vector is 3 square. Magnitude of a2 is 5. So 5 square plus 2 times a1 vector dot a2 vector. But what is magnitude of a1 vector plus a2 vector the whole square? That is nothing but this is also 5 square because they have given it as 5. So 5 square and 5 square is gone. So 2 times a1 vector dot a2 vector is equal to -9. So which implies a1 vector dot a2 vector will be equal to -9/2. Let this be equation number 2. So using 2 and 1, what do we get? 54 minus 150 plus 5 into a1 vector dot a2 vector is -9/2. How much is this case? Solve this and tell me what is the answer. Do it fast.
Minus 118.5.
Minus 118.5. Is there an option like that? So minus 118.5. So keeping the answer aside, did you guys understand how to think? Whenever you have modulus, you always need to think in terms of squaring them and applying what? Which product will you apply? Will apply
Dot product.
dot product. Okay. So I would suggest you guys to make a note of this. Read, since you have understood the problem, try to do it on your own. I'll give you 2 minutes time to write it down. Try to do it on your own. Done?
1 minute, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Finished? Comparatively an easy problem. Let's do this. So there are two vectors, A vector and B vector, have equal magnitudes. Okay. The magnitude of A vector plus B vector is n times the magnitude of A vector minus B vector. Then the angle between A vector and B vector is. Okay. So they have given it in terms of cos inverse and sine inverse. So between two vectors, if you need to involve cos theta, what kind of a product are we supposed to think?
Dot product.
Dot
Dot.
product.
So they have told A vector plus B vector is n times A vector minus B vector. Okay, this is clear. And magnitude of A vector is equal to magnitude of B vector, because so that is also mentioned, they are of equal magnitudes, right? So if I take cos theta, then cos theta is equal to, how do we solve? They're asking the angle between A vector and B vector. What is the idea you are getting?
So using tan theta.
Sorry?
Using tan theta.
Tan theta, there is no formula. There is no formula for tan theta as such. How will we? See, I am thinking of this concept. See, A vector dot B vector is equal to magnitude of A vector into magnitude of B vector cos theta. Then cos theta is equal to what? A vector dot B vector by magnitude of A vector into magnitude of B vector. So this is the formula. I could have applied this confidently under what scenario? If only the relation between A vector and B vector is given as a, like let's say A vector is n times B vector, then we could have applied this. But here what has happened? They are given A vector plus B vector is equal to n times A vector minus B vector.
So that is magnitude. Sir.
Okay. Magnitude. Then what are we supposed to do? I told you already.
Squaring on both sides.
Yes. When you square on both the sides, magnitude of a vector is nothing but the dot product of the vector with itself. So can I write it as a square plus b square plus 2ab what? 2ab cos theta is equal to n square into a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta. Accepted? But they have told magnitude of a and b are the same. So a square plus 2a square cos theta is equal to n square into a square plus a square minus 2a square cos theta. So what will get cancelled, guys? 2 plus 2 cos theta, a square will get cancelled. So 2 plus 2 cos theta is equal to n square into 2 minus 2 cos theta. So 2 is gone. 1 plus cos theta by 1 minus cos theta is equal to n square. From this, what will you get? Or we can do one thing. 1 plus cos theta is equal to n square minus n square cos theta. So n square minus 1 is equal to 1 plus n square times cos theta. So what will be the value of cos theta? N square minus 1 divided by n square plus 1. So theta will be cos inverse of n square minus 1 by n square plus 1. So option B. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll move on to next problem. One last problem for today. Now observe. There are two forces P and Q of magnitude 2F and 3F respectively. They are at an angle theta with each other. If the force Q is doubled, then the resultant also gets doubled. Then the angle theta between them is. So there are two forces, right? P. There are two forces, P and Q. Let's say P is acting like this, Q is acting like this. Then the resultant will be like this. So from this, can I write R vector is equal to P vector plus Q vector? Accepted. Now what are they saying? If the magnitude of Q is doubled, means P is remaining the same. If it is going to get 2Q, then what is going to be the resultant now?
2R.
2R.
Yes. Such that 2R vector is equal to P vector plus 2Q vector. But remember, the angle here is theta, the angle here is also still theta only. Nothing has changed. They didn't speak anything about angle. Now what are they asking is, you need to find the angle between them. How will you do? So observe, R vector is equal to P vector plus Q vector, which implies if I take magnitude on both the sides, it makes sense. See, if A vector is equal to B vector, then the magnitude of A vector is equal to magnitude of B vector. Accepted? So that's what I've done. Now, squaring on both the sides, can I write R square is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2 times PQ cos theta. Am I right? Similarly, 2R vector is equal to P vector plus 2Q vector, which implies squaring on both sides again. 4R square is equal to P square plus 4Q square plus 4PQ cos theta. Right. So can I write R square is equal to, what is the value of P square, guys? P square is 4F square plus Q square is 3F the whole square, that is 9F square plus 2 into P is 2F, this is 3F. So what will it be? 13F square plus 12F square cos theta is what is R square. Similarly, what will 4R square be equal to? 4R square, that is this value. If you take this expression, 4R square will be equal to 4F square plus 4 into 9F square plus 4 into 2F into 3F into cos theta. So 4 plus 36, that is 40F square plus 12 into 2, 24F square cos theta, this is 4R. Any doubt till here, guys?
No, sir.
So if I use both the expressions, observe 4 into, in the place of R square, I will substitute this value. So that is 13F square plus 12F square cos theta is equal to 40F square plus 24F square cos theta. So F square is gone. So 4 will cancel this 10 times, this it will cancel 6 times. So 13 plus 12 cos theta is equal to 10 plus 6 cos theta. So 3 will be equal to minus 6 cos theta. So cos theta is equal to minus half. Theta is
120.
so theta is equal to 120 degrees. Okay. So this is how you solve. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, with respect to physics, I'm going to give you problems which are based on vectors and the relative velocity this week. Okay. And this weekend there will be a test also planned. I'll inform all those things by Wednesday. But be mentally prepared that you will have a test. Is there any other doubt?
No, sir.
Is there Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. Just a minute.